Here.
Sue Kern.
Here.
Ruth Nelson.
Here.
Bob Nystrom.
Here.
Chris Robinson.
Here.
All present.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. This hearing is being held tonight to receive your input on the acquisitions and relocation assistance services and benefits to be provided with respect to the district's acquisition and betterment of the district's elementary and secondary schools and early childhood and alternative education school sites and facilities repairs, remodeling, upgrading, equipping, and construction of additions and improvements. The properties are currently identified for acquisition for this project, and they are Exhibit A and on the agenda tonight, and so if anyone needs a copy of that, I think they're available. Any person wishing to be heard on this may speak tonight, and you can also provide written comments within 30 days of the public hearing. And the written comments may be delivered or sent to Brainerd Public Schools. Attention, Marcy Lord, Director of Business Services, 804 Oak Street, Brainerd, Minnesota. During this time, there's a few rules that we'll follow according to Board Policy 206. First, and especially with the crowd we have here, we have a 3-minute limit that I will enforce. Second, complaints or allegations against students or employees may not be discussed due to privacy. Those should be submitted in writing to Superintendent Larson. And please be advised that there will be no verbal interaction or question answers with the Board of Education, Superintendent of Schools, or employees at this time. There will be no board action this evening. The Board of Education will take public comment for a minimum of 30 days. And please, again, address your written comments to Marcy Lloyd at the address given. So with that being said, remember you should have cards to fill out with your name and phone number, and whoever wants to come up first, please just state your name and whatever you'd like to say, and.
Give you the card, please? Give you the card?
Sure, you can give me the cards. Okay, that would be a good idea. So, we're here to listen tonight.
Well, I guess somebody has to be first, so, that's me. My name is Lou Anderson. I live at 1211 10th Avenue Northeast, which is across the street and one house down from a couple of the 10th Avenue properties that are identified on your list. And I guess I'm here tonight hoping to get more information about what the use is going to be for the property that's proposed to be acquired. I mean, my address is not on the list, at least not at the moment, so I guess I don't have that oar in the water, but I am interested certainly in what might be popping up across the street from me and how it might impact on the value of my property. And I guess I'm a little bit concerned about, there hasn't been, that I'm aware of, a whole lot of information as to specifics of what exactly is being planned, at least in our neighborhood. I did send an email a couple weeks ago, I think, and actually, I think it was a consultant answered me within probably 20 minutes of my hitting send. And, but she was in her car going somewhere, coming back from somewhere. I was in my car, and we kind of agreed, well, take a look at my email. It kind of lays out the questions I had. And, you know, you've got my identifying information. Well, she never got back to me. And in fact, I did place one more phone call to the phone number that was on my cell phone and did leave a message, but I've never heard from anybody. So that's my purpose for being here, is to gather information.
Okay, thank you.
I left my card there, so it looks
Have
like
it, yep.
somebody picked it up. Ed Shaw, My office is 722 South Sixth Street, which is involved in this project, and a couple concerns jump out at me. I heard about this, got a phone call last week, didn't have any idea that the business I've put 20-some years into was on the chopping block, so to speak, and I did have a meeting with, I think, the consultant and one of your staff, and we had a pleasant talk this afternoon. I saw some maps. I understand those aren't being publicly distributed yet, so certainly one issue, I think there needs to be a little more notice in this process if we really want to hear from the public. It looks like there's quite a few people here, given the short notice, but if we really want to hear from the public, I think we need to give a little more time to hear from them. But in any event, what I understand is planned for area over my right shoulder is 2 whole city blocks will be given over to parking. And a number of homes and a business, mine specifically, will be destroyed towards that objective. I'd assuming the cost, considering taking into account the relocation cost, property acquisition, will run in the millions, so I haven't seen a hard number on that. And I would just ask that some hard thought be given to that. If my property were being given over to something that would benefit education, a school, something of that nature, I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't be here. I'd be negotiating a fair price quickly and quietly and moving on. But parking will not enhance education, will not enhance safety one bit. If anything, it'll make the neighborhood more dangerous. It'll make what's already one of the poorest neighborhoods in your district more blighted. No one wants to live around 2 blocks of parking. And it's labeled on the maps as parking in green space, but let's be honest. We're talking asphalt, we're talking parking. We're not talking a park. We're not talking a playground. So I would certainly take the green space label off of that. We need to be honest, and we're not talking green space here. And please give this some thought. I know there's consultant reports and glossy presentations, and the thing about consultants is you can get one to say anything. It's like expert witnesses in court. You know, they'll say based on how they're paid. But take a look at this. This idea that we need this much parking is far behind the times, is far out of dated. It's a decision that the community and the district will certainly regret if we go along with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Rod Knowles. I live directly behind Ed, who just spoke, and I have many of the same concerns that he just mentioned. But I would like to know if there are planning groups, committees, whatever, that are currently active, that are doing some of the planning for the development as it's evolving. I did have a meeting a week and a half ago or so about this, and my concern is that I don't think that necessarily a lot more asphalt is going to help the appearance of the area, whether my house or business or Ed's or several others go. And I mean, you know, if you wanted to put in a park with a rose garden and a gazebo and things like that, that might be attractive, but I don't think that's what we're talking about here. In addition to the issues involving parking and available space and what's needed, I think that we need to really look at some really creative ideas about how to address that in a way that doesn't end up making it just a giant eyesore for the city, whether my house is there or not in the future. I would just hate to see everything expand with asphalt outward forever. And it's not attractive, and I'm not sure it's that functional either. I know it's expensive to build things like ramps. I know it's expensive to build other types of parking facilities. But it may be that with a performing arts center in the making here, that something like that would make good sense, and that whatever is done now could be planned so that we didn't have to undo things to do something eventually that should have been done from the beginning. I would rather see that take more time and end up being something that everybody would really like and it would benefit everyone. I'm also concerned about one big thing, and that is that I have a 2,000 square foot greenhouse with several thousand orchid plants. And you don't just pick them up and plunk them down somewhere. And I want some reassurance that whatever happens here, if we end up having to move, if we end up, tear the house down or move it or whatever, that I will be able to do this. I have a huge investment in this. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you can't just do these things on short notice. I have several friends in the business who are located in the Twin Cities area and all over the country. And they will be happy to supply information about what's involved in it and how complicated it can be. But essentially, I have to have another greenhouse facility ready to go into before I take them out of what they're in. And that's expensive. It's really not the kind of thing that you can do. You can't just take it apart and put it back together, because where the orchid plant's gonna be in the meantime. I'm not gonna belabor all of those points right now. I hope that maybe we can get together with other people and discuss some of this as time goes on. And I don't know who to contact to find out about other committees and individuals and groups that are involved in the planning as this moves toward eventually getting the Performing Arts Center completed.
Okay. We'll make sure someone gets back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Other people? Did you fill out a card?
I didn't get one.
Okay, when you're done, will you just fill one out,
Sure, can I
please?
talk now or?
You can talk now, yeah.
Okay. My name is Trinity, and I'm at 1601 Oak Street. I have a small salon there. I do not own the property, I rent, and I also have a renter that rents out of the building that I'm in, and I have not been yet contacted. I know they're gonna build a parking lot there, as far as I've heard from the landlord. That's the only contact I've had, is the information that he's given me, and so obviously I'm concerned about relocation and, yeah, what it would mean to be in a different location, because, I mean, it's a fairly cheap area to be renting out of, and just basically more information on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Please fill out, Trinity, please fill out one of those cards, so we have your contact information. Anyone else? Okay. Seeing no one? We will, if there's no one else, we will adjourn this public meeting.
And then we'll reconvene the regular at
And
6:15.
we'll reconvene the regular at 6:15. Okay, thank you, everyone.